Chapter 2 Beach Boys. The next morning, a tone sounded, and Karen's face popped up on my H-pad and said, "Let's go, Jay. I'm picking up Chris and Sandra, too. And don't forget your Raiden and some swim gear." Sandra is one of Karen's friends. They became acquainted at Beauty Corp, and Chris is Sandra's boyfriend. I've met them a couple of times while visiting Karen, and they were cool people. I just thought Chris was a little high-strung. He's the bodybuilder type with that I-can-do-anything attitude. Sandra, on the other hand, is like a librarian or a nun, kind of quiet and correct. "Roger that," I said. "I'll be right out." Damn it, I thought to myself. I forgot to fully load my Raiden PS last night. A Raiden PS, Raiden Power Source, is a piece of equipment that everyone brings with them nowadays whenever they leave their unit for more than, say, an hour. It takes about 6 hours to fully charge and supplies power to almost anything that can be publicly accessed. And a lot of times, since there is a standard production law, privately also. It's about as big as an old smartphone and can supply power for up to 3 days on a full charge. I don't fully understand the technology in it, but no one has ever been injured from one. Even kids have them. Back in 2131, the state decided that people were using too much energy on gadgets in everyday life. They realized that we could slow down doing damage to the ozone while making life more affordable and convenient if people were to supply their own power to things when and where they needed it. Computers have taken over most of the everyday services that people used to be accustomed to. So now we just have to add power. Since lithium-ion, back in the last 1.5 centuries, discoveries have been made which allow machines and gadgets to function with a very minuscule amount of energy. For example, when I go to the charge station, nobody is working there. It can be described as resembling an archaic ghost gas station with a single SLD smart laser diode shining on a Raiden PS port. Someone glides up and connects their Raiden. The Raiden is used to initiate the basic service functions of the charge station. Once initiated, the station then assumes the task of recharging the glider by use of its main internal power generator. If it's dark, the entire area is flooded with SLD lights, and the service computer, with the help of a few robotics, does the rest. Once the source of energy is removed, the charge station shuts down after about 1 minute. Just time enough to glide away or the next customer plugs in. The whole place stays under 24-hour surveillance by the Universal Watch, and everyone knows it, so crime is not much of a problem. Since we were going to the beach, I didn't need much power, but I was pretty sure Randy would bring some submerging suits in case we found something. I would only have had enough juice for about 2 hours. I ran outside and saw Karen and her kids waiting for me in her family-sized glider bus. I jumped in and we glid off. Once we arrived at the beach, I saw Randy setting up equipment and looking really busy. The kids ran down to the water laughing and screaming. Jill, Randy's wife, and Cindy had a spot on the beach picked out, and so Karen and Sandra spread out their blankets and joined them. Chris and I headed over towards Randy. I saw my brother standing barefoot at the edge of the tide with a beer in his hand, talking Randy's ear off. "Yeah, bro, they say it's not more than a mile or so. I'll bet there's some expensive merchandise in there or something. Maybe we'll all be rich," said Ron. "I don't know, but let's take a look first and see what's going on and see how dangerous it is," said Randy. "Okay, all set. Let's see what these babies can do," shouted Randy. I get one control and Randy had the other. The bots are amphibious. They roll on tracks like a tank into the water. They were both painted a bright neon color, one orange and the other lime green. This was to ensure that they could be easily seen and told apart from far away. They have swim bladders like a fish, so they can be filled with air to float, or the air could be released so they could submerge like 2 little submarines. The controls had a camera display, which was impressively clear considering the murkiness of the water. The bots also had little built-in flood lamps that swiveled. We drove them out as close to the top of the water as we could get, as not to get disorientated. After about 10 minutes, we decided that we must have been in the right spot and let them dive. At first, there was nothing to see except dark green and a few small fish and some plants. But then, it became clear that we were starting to see a more evenly flat surface. It was covered with dirt and rocks. There were rusted pieces of metal covered in what appeared to be barnacles. We followed the surface for a while until it came to a drop-off. Randy said, "We may have to go a little farther down, but first let's check out this flat area." "Okay," I said and turned my bot around as Randy did the same. We saw some trash and debris, but no sign of the container. "Oh, come on," shouted Ron. "Maybe there's just a little farther." "That may be," said Randy. "But I don't want to lose my bots, and the power is getting low," he continued. Chris blurted, "Dude, if you want, I'll swim out there right now." "I don't think that's a very good idea," said Randy. "It's better if we wait and go as a team. Now that we've seen that the area isn't too dangerous, maybe we can use the submerging suits to get closer. We'll come back next weekend with the QXH9 and pose like we're fishing," he concluded. "All right, I'm with it," replied Ron. "Yeah, me too," I complied. "In the meantime, let's go and enjoy this sunny day. Jill is barbecuing and I'm starving," said Randy.